Everyone, welcome to our show. This time we're doing a bonus episode known as Press X Reloaded. Let me introduce my host, RK.
Hello, I'm RK128, editor of one of the editors at Lords of Gaming, and co-host of my good friend Seahawk over here. And we're gonna talk about Astro Bot and a whole bunch of other games we've been playing as of late.
All right. So, let's start with how are you doing?
I've been doing pretty good, man. Like it's definitely been a bit of a busy week. Like it's a lot. Like this is a time where a lot of games are coming out now. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
games. And like obviously obviously you all know me. So the main game I've been playing is Sonic X Shadow Generations. I beat it, wrote a very long review, and I'm really happy how that turned out. And I'm really happy how the game turned out. Like even as like you can just kind of roll your eyes at the you say he likes it because he's a Sonic fan, but it's genuine. It is genuinely a fantastic video game from
Oh,
top
yeah.
to bottom, and very happy about that. As somebody who's a big fan of the series, wants to see it keep on improving. But we will discuss that more later. But just in general, just that I got to get back to Metaphor. Obviously, Call of Duty came out, and as a Game Pass subscriber, why not play it? So I have it on the laptop, and it runs well. It runs better than it did during the beta. I don't have to worry about the laptop overheating now, so that's nice.
That's good.
Uh, yeah, I just got to figure out the settings to make sure the frame rate is where I want it to be. But
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, like I only played the multiplayer, but so far, but like I really like the multiplayer.
That's good. I am also doing pretty well. Been playing. I've been playing a lot of games actually. I've been
Ooh,
playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, which right now I'm currently on break from,
you gotta make some business decisions.
and Call of Duty Cold War in preparation for Black Ops 6.
Oh, nice. So you didn't
I was
start Black Ops 6 yet?
I did,
Oh, okay.
but that was doing last week. Cold War.
Ah,
I
okay.
also revisited Modern Warfare 2019, which is a campaign I really like. And I also did a little bit of The Last of Us 2, but now I'm in balls deep in Black Ops 6.
Did you play Last of Us 2, Last of Us Remastered, or Last of Us Part
Part
2?
2, the PS4 version.
The what about Part 2, the Deluxe Ultra Edition Remaster?
I'm good. It's 60 frames,
Okay.
and I only played like one level.
It's a beautiful game. Like look, you know me. I'm not really the one. I'm not really the kind of person for those types of games. But I'm not gonna dismiss the visuals. The Naughty Dog made a genuinely beautiful game.
It's also probably one of the most recent stealth experiences, I would say.
Can you
But
say that
yeah,
again?
I said it's one of the best stealth experiences.
Oh, I can imagine. Like from what you've told me, they really improved the gameplay side of
Oh
things
yeah,
from the first one.
yeah. They have things like the dogs that sniff you.
Mm.
You can craft silencers. Oh, now every time NPC sees a body, they actually call someone by like everybody by name. Like, oh
I
no, Bill died.
I remember I saw a review about that. That's real. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, and then you can go prone now, prone, so you can like
That is
fully
why.
lay down on the grass. But yeah, they really upped their game with the gameplay and Lahos too.
But yeah, I'm glad we're both enjoying a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I only played one level because I was doing like a stealth design analysis on The Last of Us 2.
For the game, for like the stuff you're working on, right?
Yeah, I was analyzing one of like my favorite levels to see, to analyze the stealth. But yeah, But yeah, now I'm currently in Black Ops 6, and then we'll talk about that a bit later. So, you want to talk about Astro?
All right, so we'll kick the this bonus episode off with Astro Bot. It was definitely a little bit late on the uptake with this one, but Astro Bot is one of the is from Team Asobi, a PlayStation first party studio. It came out early in September, and it got critical acclaim across the board. And me and Seahawk played it. I didn't platinum it, but he did. I got almost everything, and I loved it.
Oh
It
yeah.
was it was a great experience from start to finish, and it as someone who personally enjoys PlayStation stuff, when they kind of lean more on the creative side of things, the more like colorful side of things, basically like what they used to do back on the Vita, the PlayStation 2, the PS3. That's seeing that kind of energy in a new modern PlayStation release was really cool. And also Sony, like Team Asobi, is part of the remnants of Studio Japan. So seeing them get to flex that creative muscle that we haven't seen since the PS3 days is really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I was really impressed by Astro Bot as well. Just love seeing the creativity they did with the PlayStation IPs.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll kind of kick things off with like our favorite because
Let's
content.
do this a bit differently.
Okay.
Let's go over like all the big boss levels and the homage levels,
Okay.
and then
So
we can sum up our thoughts on the other levels as well. But let's go over the
okay.
big ones.
Okay. So for what I remember, there was
I have a list here, so
thank you for thank you for being the more informative host.
we're gonna start with the bosses. So we have, you remember the Falcon McFly one?
The one where
It was like a
is that
giant bird, and you're like,
yeah, that is the one that's the lead up to the horizon level, right?
I think so, yeah.
Well, no, I think that might have been
This is the fifth world.
the fifth world. Yeah, it's the horizon. Horizon's the last PlayStation like
Okay,
hero level. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, that was the fun. That was a fun boss.
that
The,
was.
yeah, the I love the gimmick of the boss fight is you have to use Astro's like metal ball form
Oh
where
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
where you press the right like the right trigger, and Astrobot just can turns into a ball. And when you jump in the air, it actually is like a powerful ground pound ability, and you have to use the ball form to avoid like projectiles and use that ground pound ability to damage the boss. And the it was a fun boss fight where like you have to kind of stay on your feet, and it just turned out really well. I also really like that power up in general. The level that ability was introduced in was a really fun level.
Oh yeah, it was really fun. And then we have the octopus, Wako Taco.
Yes, I think with this boss fight, you had like the frog boxing hands.
Yeah, yeah, the boxing hands.
Yeah, those are that. Fun fact: if you like, if you have both, if you do like the spin attack ability, if you hold both of the triggers, you get like a long, like you get a bigger area effect for the spin attack.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah, that was one of probably my favorite ones. I think the octopus one.
Yeah, and the payoff for that was pretty funny. Seeing,
Oh, Nathan Drake.
no, I think that was Kratos, and boy,
Oh, it
and
could have been.
yeah, I think Kratos
Oh,
was
I think.
not
Let me think.
Kratos.
Nathan Drake was the snake, or no?
Yeah, Nathan Drake was a snake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The ending of that boss was pretty funny too. Like he's just trying to take the treasure with him.
Yes, that was pretty fun. And then we have the Ape Escape one, Mighty Chewy.
Yeah, like the that was a fun boss. I think with that one you had the bulldog. Was it, yeah? Did you have?
The jetpack bulldog.
Yeah, I think that was the one that was in for that fight. Or am I mistaking that for the genie mini boss?
No, I think it is.
Yeah, okay. But it's interesting. An interesting aspect of Astro Bot
It
is,
looks very inspired by King Kong.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And an interesting thing about some of these boss fights is, while like they all have their own unique mechanics and everything, a big element of the well, not a big element, but one aspect of some of the bosses is that they pull it kind of does like a Kirby Mario thing where if you play the VR game, they actually are returning boss fights, but because you're not in VR and you have the different like animal helper abilities, it kind of changes how the fight plays out completely. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And then you had the chameleon, Mecha Leon.
Yeah, I think after you beat that one, it's the Patapons, right? If I remember correctly.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. I
Yeah, I think so
think that was
too.
the most challenging one for me.
The chameleon, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely got tripped up a couple of times in that fight.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention you get like lives during these boss fights.
Yep, you get a couple of hit points, and you're not really punished for if you die. Like you just restart the fight, and you get all your hit points restored.
Yeah. Those are cool bosses too as well. And then
Yeah,
you have the snake, Lady Venomara.
yeah. I don't. That one I'm kind of a bit fuzzy on in terms of how that fight plays out. It's been a minute, but like we mentioned earlier, I like the payoff at the end of it where you free like the little Drake Astrobot, and you kind of just naturally transition to the Uncharted level.
Yeah. I think I remember this one was like you had to do some sort of counterattack to get a hit on it. Oh yeah, you had like the whole body of the snake like going around the level.
Yeah, I think so. But again, like I
And
don't
then you had like
remember.
you used the jump lasers like to cut it parts off.
Hmm.
That was a
Oh
fun
yeah,
one.
the jump laser. Like when you jump in the air, you do the little hover ability.
Yeah. And then the final boss fight,
That was awesome. I
S-
love the lead up to that.
Space
So
Bully.
yeah, so spoilers for people who haven't played Astrobot yet. So the lead up to the boss fight, you basically riding on PlayStation consoles and controllers and all these accessories, and you have characters from the PlayStation eras assisting you the whole fight. And you have like an amazing remix of a Sega arcade game playing in the background the whole time. And it's like, yo, this is so cool.
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
I love at the end when everybody thinks Astro died.
Yeah, and then like yeah, and it's an interesting kind of like payoff because as Astro, you're kind of helping rebuild the PlayStation 5. That's like your little ship. So
Yeah.
now you're actually repairing Astrobot himself. So that's such a
Mm.
nice little kind of like full circle moment. And then after he's fixed up, you get like that like final celebration. Yeah, you beat the game level. I love that. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. And then let's see, what else do we? I think that's it for the boss fights. We covered them all.
That's it for the main bosses,
Yeah.
and each level, not every level, but some levels you have like the mini bosses. I'm the one I have the clearest memory of is the one where you play is the genie, where like
Yeah. I know that one.
yeah, we have to kind of use the bulldog ability to kind of charge into like his hands at the right time in order to damage him.
That was a fun one for sure.
But yeah, Astrobot, in addition to the bosses,
Wasn't there like a
the
frog as well?
A frog? I don't remember the
This was like the pirate, I think.
oh yeah, that's like the big pirate, but I think in order to defeat that you had like the monkey ability and you use like the dual sense to climb upwards. Or I might be mixing that up with something else.
I think so. You're right. Yeah, but those are some pretty good levels. Then let's talk about the homage levels.
Absolutely. So in Astrobot, Again, spoilers for the game. So at the end of each world, after you beat the boss, you free like you free specific VIP bots. So if you beat the ape boss, you free, fittingly enough, Spike from Ape Escape, and then you get transitioned to a level that is literally just you playing Ape Escape. You have like the monkey radar with L2. You hold that down and kind of see where the monkeys are, and then with R2 you swing in the net, and like you have like a really cool remix playing in the background. The level isn't the biggest, but it's like a little fun little playground. We can kind of just move around, collect things, and then you actually when you capture the apes, it literally does the same animations from the Ape Escape game. That was so cool. And even though all the monkeys look kind of the same, very similar to Ape Escape, each ape, because they're all Astro Bots wearing costumes, has their own little personality thing, and you can kind of see that in like when you get back to like the crash site and give them unique items. And it's cool. And another nice touch is like even though Astro's mechanics aren't the most in depth, like you have like you remember the little flower thing that helps you ascend upwards.
Mm.
That actually like how they implemented that in the Ape Escape level is basically them kind of implementing like one of the gadgets that Spike would typically use to get extra jump height, and having like that space in like a specific part of that little level was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that Ape Escape one. And then I think the second one was God of War.
Mm-hmm. Do you
That,
want to take the floor with this
yeah, I'll
one?
take that one. That was a really fun one because if it isn't ain't known, God of War Ragnarok is one of my favorite games. I thought that was like really creative what they did there. I love like how you got those like those like ravens.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
The collectibles like just in God of War, the
That's
first
sick.
one, and Ragnarok. So that was pretty cool. And you had like some puzzles that were very reminiscent.
Did you get a kick out of the little sequence where you kind of shimmying through the cave?
Yes, that was funny.
I love the music. The music that like I have the soundtrack on my phone.
Yeah.
The God of War theme, that remix, peak. One of the best soundtracks this year.
I remember you threw like an axe to a wall and it could reveal something.
Yeah, so cool. Oh, and there was a whole bit with I think it's more of a reference to the first game, if I remember correct. Not the first game, the 2018 game, but you have like the turtle, and you actually flip him over, and that's where one of the characters,
It's a reference
like,
to both games, but yeah.
yeah. Then you have like I think Freya is like the Astro Bot for that, right? Well, if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I love seeing all those Astro Bots too, because you see the characters from Ragnarok.
That's cool.
You like
And the
those
best
chest? They did like the chest as well.
Oh yeah, and and the funny thing is that like Astro gets the characteristics of the characters.
Oh, you also fought one of the bosses from the game.
Yeah, and also did he catch like when he like in his idle animation, like both in 2018 and in Ragnarok, Kratos does the stomp to heal or like to get the rage like crystals.
Mm.
Astro has his idle animation is literally that. That's so cute.
Yeah, that was a good level.
Yeah, and I guess I will touch on the Horizon level. The franchise PlayStation loves shilling every single chance it gets. But in this situation, I really feel like they did a really good job kind of honoring what honoring what the idea of the game was, because
Mm.
not only because what they do is they take like in if you remember Astro's Playroom, one of the items Astro can use is a bow and arrow, and so what they did was they carry that over completely mechanic wise, but they give you Aloy's like time slowdown ability,
Mm.
and that allows you to aim more careful shots, and it kind of and like the robot dinosaurs, the more naturalistic environments. It was also one of the most like let's helps like makes for a really good platforming level, because Horizon, one of the main things in those games is you're climbing and you're exploring a lot. So having like a platformer set in that kind of style is pretty cool. And you have like the music again, like all the remixes of the PlayStation themes are really good. Like that is something that I really appreciate about these homage levels. And then the boss fight at the end was pretty fun too.
Oh yeah, I liked Horizon 1 really good as well. Yeah, I like what they did with the dinosaurs as the Astro Bots.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like that, you did wear like the big helmets and you punch them, and the helmet falls off. That's so cute.
Yeah, and then the one that caught me but that had me confused very much was Loco Roco. Like,
I thought you was gonna talk about the Uncharted level for a moment there. I was gonna comment on that, but I'm like, no, Uncharted is my man's franchise. I'm not gonna steal his thunder.
but yeah, I don't know, just Loco Roco had me, because I did not know what Loco Roco was before, but yeah, they took a
You
Vita
never
game
played,
and
you
gave
never,
it a love.
you never played any of the games before.
Loco Roco, no.
Okay, so context. It's actually a PSP series. Both
Oh,
games, I think, got remastered on PS4 at some point,
oh,
and it's basically a puzzle game where you like and that's very accurate to what you played in Astro Bot. The main difference is you have little 3D sections where it's kind of like Katamari a little bit, where you kind of tilting like a big like thing around in the area. That's pretty. I didn't expect that when I played that level. That was really
I
cool.
was just caught off guard by this level.
I would have you would have expected they kind of pick something else from Studio Japan's catalog, like Gravity Rush or Puppeteer or something, but they picked Loco Roco, and I think a vibe from all the different like hero levels is it represents like a console for PlayStation, kind of.
Yeah,
Like they I like in a spoiler cast in
or
for Sacred Symbols Plus that they did not too a little while ago, they kind of commented on like PS1's represented by Ape Escape, God of War's representing PS2, Loco Roco's
no, God
PSP.
of War is PS5, isn't it?
Yeah, technically, but God of War originated on the PS2.
Yeah, but they're doing a PS5 game.
I don't know, but
Because
you
they
know,
see we have God of War is PS5, Uncharted is PS3, Horizon PS4, Loco Roco PSP.
but who's covering PS2?
Oh, I guess you can call your PS2, and then Horizon's PS4.
Yeah,
So yeah, they did. I think God of War is more for PS5.
fair enough, I guess.
See,
I just thought
five
that
levels, five consoles.
yeah. And I guess we'll talk about the last one if you're finished talking about Loco Loco.
Or you could call the Horizon remaster of PS5.
Oh man. But yeah, the last PlayStation Hero level is Uncharted, and I got emotional when I played this one because like once you hear Nathan like the music, it's like oh my god, this is literally Nathan Drake's theme, and it's awesome. You have a moment during like the track where he goes no, no, no. Like he's about to fall off. Like how you would expect, like how like a set piece happens in Uncharted, and like Astro gets a little like pop gun, so he actually shooting, and it's really interesting seeing like people even have little objects you can kind of hide behind as if you're like going behind cover in one of the games. But you also have some fun little puzzles that kind of use mechanics from Astro Bot, like swinging across areas or using like those sensor things and using the dual sense to kind of figure out which block to push in. And then of course you can't have an Uncharted level without a set piece at the end.
Yes.
I loved it. It was out of all the PlayStation levels, that Ape Escape and God of War are my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like all of them. They're all great. Got any favorite cameos?
Man, I didn't like some of the the deep cuts, I genuinely did not expect. Like, you had like characters from Soul Reaver appear. You had Ghost and like Arthur from Ghost and Goblin show up, and some of the like not surprising cameos, but how they were implemented are pretty cool. For Castlevania, you have Richter, right? You would assume, oh, he's like gonna be like how he is in like a hero. No, that like the how they use the reference is pretty cool. Like he's kind of sitting like in Symphony of the Night, like there's like the part of the game where you fighting him, and he's kind of like he's under the influence of Dracula or something or of the like. And like he's sitting on like a throne chair. You have like little skeletons. You punch Richter, he snaps out of it and just uses the Belmont whip to kill the skeletons. And then he snaps back to being evil again, sits on the throne. That's such a cute little reference. Like that's a level of care I did not expect. Or like obviously something I didn't expect was Crash and Spyro to have proper cameo appearances.
I saw
Like,
that coming.
I mean, we could have seen that coming. Crash
I'm
did.
pretty sure it was in the trailer, if I remember.
I don't, not sure, but like, you would assume with the whole Activision thing with
Those deals were long in place.
It's interesting though to see like both Crash and Spyro appear. Oh, and one of my favorite cameos is I was so surprised when I saw this one. Amaterasu from Okami. Like I came across that in like the hub area. I'm like, no fucking way they did that. Wow, because you gotta keep in mind, Okami originally released on the PS2. It was a cult classic, but Clover Studios got shut down, and Capcom has been re-releasing that game ever since. But like seeing Okami reference at all is really cool. And it's not even just like an Astro Bot head. It just literally Amaterasu in like a robot like form. And like when you punch her, she runs around and like as she makes a trail of like flowers like she does in the game. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is so nice. And of course, Studio Japan gets a ton of love with a lot of cameos from like you name it, Puppeteer, Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, so on. But one cameo I didn't expect to see is it's not a reference to Tony Hawk, it's a reference to a skateboarding game PlayStation did in the past. But like it's obvious that they want to they want to honor the Tony Hawk games. But you know the little skater robot you come across?
Yeah.
It's cool, like a little reference to Tony Hawk. I like that.
Yeah.
But what are your favorite cameos?
I love that they did the PS2 Ratchet.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then for one of the Uncharted characters, Chloe, I love the caption they put. Knows
Yeah.
you love to see her leave. And then they had some good ones.
Oh,
It's
did you get a kick out of like when Nathan Drake? I think his special item is he's playing the PlayStation 1.
uh, my favorite one was when Sully was just next to the beach, sitting on his chair.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I bet you were happy to see the Phantom Thief.
Yeah, the Persona ones, like that was I did not expect. Oh, like not like obviously 1 and 2 didn't make appearances, but Persona 3, 4, and 5 got little Astrobots. That's so cool. Did not expect that.
Yeah, they had cool ones like Ghost of Tsushima as well. Sly Cooper, Jack.
Oh, and a fun thing about some of the you could actually dress Astro up in some of the costumes based off the VIP bots. Like that. So what was your favorite costume?
Sly Cooper.
Yeah, Sly was but I used Sly for most of my playthrough, but I switched between him, Ratchet, and Jack
I think
as
I used the gold Astro for mine.
oh, that's so cool.
Yep. Oh, that was pretty cool to see the MGS ones as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like not just one version of Snake, but like both the original Metal Gear Solid and I think Metal Gear Solid Free Snake.
And there's like a trophy tied to Lara Croft.
Yeah, I think you have to you have to punch her while she's being chased by the dinosaur. Is that it?
I don't remember what it was, but it was pretty funny. But I think you had to like take a picture of them both together.
Oh, that's good.
Nathan Drake and Lara Croft together.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, did you get a kick out of the Yakuza one? Where you just where you punch Kiryu, all these items from the game series just pop up out of them.
That was funny.
You even get a trophy for it.
Yeah, it was a trophy. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time with Astro.
Same.
But yeah, there's a lot of bots. What about those challenge levels?
The challenge levels, are you talking about the DLC levels or
No,
the?
you know,
Oh,
like the simple challenges.
yeah, those are pretty difficult, man. Like some of them are like really hard.
Some of them really consumed my time.
I for me, I personally did not like the one with the rubber duck because like because you there was no like timer to kind. It was kind of hard to gauge when the water was running out. So like at a certain point, it's like okay, you just have to throw it and like you have to make a careful jump to avoid the lava.
Well, speaking of the cameos, I forgot they put Jin in the the hot tub.
Oh yeah, that's right. He gets so mad when you punch him. He just
Oh
rushes
yeah,
out.
there's some really funny animation like the boss, the big characters.
Yeah, so cool.
Oh, I forgot Infamous was also in it. That was really good.
Yeah, the
He
infamous.
like
Yeah.
electrocutes you.
Oh yeah, and then you have
Spiral lights you on fire.
yep. And Kratos is funny. Like you have like Kratos, you punch him, he hits you with the Leviathan axe, and you freeze in place. I think isn't there a trophy where you can kind of trick him into freezing Thor?
Yeah, I did that. That was fun.
Oh, that's funny.
I even did it before I was doing on the trophies. I just did it up by accident.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah. Look at that DLC bot. It seems they added a Rise of Ronin.
I didn't get a chance to play the challenge levels yet,
I haven't either.
but I think that the VIP bots for that so far, or I think two Helldivers, Eve from Stellar Blade, and you just mentioned the character from Rise of Ronin.
Yeah, but
I'm wondering if because and as Lord Sonic, I'm kind of wondering if because Sega has like they gave the marketing rights for the Sonic to PlayStation for the latest game. So part of me's
yeah,
kind of wondering
paying
as
money for that.
yeah, they paid money for that because they know it's a good game. Hmm. Anyway, before you start slandering me, I was trying to make a point. I'm kind of like, as part of the wave of DLC bots, what characters do you think could appear in that roster? I'm kind of thinking maybe, if not Sonic, at least Shadow to kind of promote that game.
I don't expect it.
Okay, well, if not Sonic, but what characters would you think appear in the DLC?
Weren't the Twisted Metal bots like absent?
Yeah, that and I think a Fat Princess were not present. So I could see
Like
both franchises get VIP
anything
bots.
else big that was missing?
Trying to think about franchises.
Because we got
Um,
Ratchet, Infamous, Sly, Ghost,
a
Horizon.
lot a lot of the big PlayStation franchises are accounted for, and obviously you have Square Enix could be completely MIA. But
Yeah,
that's because
they
they
clearly
probably
don't want to
want.
associate with Sony anymore.
I think it's more of a case of they want to be paid for the cameo appearances, while all the other companies like, yeah, go ahead, sure, no problem. Square Enix actively.
I think everybody gets paid.
Hmm.
I just think Square Enix has seemed too close with Sony.
Well, it's just kind of weird when you consider like you had like the Final Fantasy VII reference in Playroom. You would assume
That
that you
was
would have.
when they were. They're excited for exclusivity,
Hmm.
and they're not so anymore.
Yakuza isn't exclusive to PlayStation anymore. But Kiryu
Yeah, but
popped.
they didn't. They're not trying to distance themselves from PlayStation.
I guess we'll see if Square Enix does anything with Astro Bot. But
I wouldn't expect anything.
I think you're probably right.
Yep.
Sorry.
Now, let's do our final thoughts on Astro.
I think all the critical praise it got was well deserved. It is the most Nintendo platformer that hasn't been released on a Nintendo console I've ever seen since the PlayStation Vita's tearaway. It is a genuine, heartfelt experience that should be celebrated because it's rare when we see platforms being made by people other than Nintendo or Sega or whatever. PlayStation throwing that hat in the ring with a major game is pretty major. Like obviously, PlayStation has made platforms on PS5 with Sackboy: Big Adventure at launch, Ratchet launch window, Astro's Playroom being a pack-in, but seeing them take that pack-in, give Team Asobi the budget to make a full experience, that should be celebrated. And me and you both voted with our wallets and bought it at launch. And I hope that the game did well enough financially to ensure a sequel happens. I would love to
I
see
agree.
Astro Bot too. Because even though like you love PlayStation's big AAA stuff, even you can agree that PlayStation does need these smaller games every now and then to kind of keep things fresh and whatnot.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how even on a down year they still delivering.
Yep, that's what happens when I definitely agree with that. Like PlayStation has been doing a pretty good job this year in terms of their exclusive lineup.
This is
Like
arguably their weakest year, and it's still a top year.
the only exception is Concord. That's literally the only exception to them.
Yeah, but like if you compare it to say other console manufacturers,
Well,
it's
well,
in the grand scheme of things,
I mean,
one
for
one miss isn't gonna be it isn't that big of a deal.
I mean, if we're gonna go, if we're gonna be going that direction, I mean, one of the games that you're kind of really excited about, Microsoft owns the publisher for, and they also
Yeah,
had the
but
Jones
like
coming out, and
yes,
you
we
can.
can.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying they do own the publisher, but that I don't know. I don't really associate their success with Microsoft.
It is what it is. I think like
This
everyone,
Call of Duty would have been amazing even without Microsoft.
you're probably right, but in the end of the day, it's like everyone
They actually
has
kind
their.
of harmed the development because they did all those layoffs.
Do you think Microsoft? I'm kind of under the belief that even if Microsoft didn't buy Activision, those layoffs would have still happened in some capacity because
I
every
don't
major.
think it would have been at the same scale though.
You're probably right; it wouldn't be at the same scale,
Because
but every publisher
Sledgehammer
got hit.
Productions, which is like one of the big three Call of Duty studios,
Yeah,
they basically got neutered.
probably because of the results like of Modern Warfare 3, and
Modern Warfare 3 exceeded expectations.
I guess critically, but I don't think
By the
Activision.
way, Modern Warfare 3 wasn't like a lone Sledgehammer production. It was a three studio production. Sledgehammer, they did the campaign. Raven did the multiplayer. Because I don't know if you remember, but they were making a multiplayer remaster a few years ago.
Yeah,
The Modern Warfare 2 remaster. So
yeah.
they had the maps already. They just had to fit them for the new COD.
Okay, so they basically took that multiplayer stuff and just ported it over to Modern Warfare
Yeah,
3.
yeah. They just they had the maps already remastered from like a couple years ago, so they just ported it in and then tried the zombies.
You know more about Call of Duty than I do, so I'm just gonna just trust your judgment here on all this.
My stance is Xbox is keeping their hands off with Call of Duty.
Probably for the best in the grand scheme of things.
Well, they have, I think, one of the biggest marketing cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most expensive that can compare it to a Hollywood big budget movie.
Call of Duty's everywhere. Like
I don't know if you saw those replacer ads.
I didn't see any. Well, I didn't really see any much. I didn't see a ton of ads. Like
No, I'm
when I
talking
was
about, you know, the who the replacer is?
placers.
The replacer.
I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, it's like a marketing character they did. It's like
Like I said, you know more
they like
about Call.
created a character, and basically it's like this person. What he does is basically he replaces you in your job while you go play Call of Duty.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
Yeah. So they're like marketing like the replacer replacing famous celebrities so they can play Call of Duty.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah. So they did like a whole marketing thing like with him as the focus.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, he's a really old marketing thing. I think they introduced him during Black Ops 2, which is like 2 generations ago.
Hmm.
But yeah. But yeah, Call of Duty is great, and Astro Bot was also fantastic.
Absolutely.
Got anything else to say about Astro before I move on?
No, I think like Astrobot is they killed it, man. Like they made a really good experience, and I hope we get a sequel.
Yeah, I'd be down for a sequel. I wouldn't say it's my goatee, but probably my second goatee.
Well, I mean, like that. It's gonna be hard for me to kind of pick between everything this year. There's a lot of good games for me this year.
I bet there is for you. You have the ultimate year.
Yep, and next year is gonna be your ultimate year.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully.
it will be. There's like no doubt. But I think that I guess I'll go for my high level thoughts before I move on. I thought Astro Bot was an excellent platformer, really fun and creative levels. It's just a funny little game, and happily paid $60 for it.
Same.
I believe I saw number 2 on the
It did
last
pretty
month's.
well, I think. I think it
Like
did pretty well for September.
I have the link somewhere, but let me just find it real quick. But yeah, it did really well. Number 2, I think it even beat a sports game.
Damn.
But yeah, it's a really successful game. But yeah, let's move on to Metaphor.
I wish I could talk more about this, but because between Comic Con being very busy, just for a normal job, and context, because I've been so busy and Metaphor is such a massive game, one of the other editors is taking over the review while I kind of focus on another game instead. But I still plan on playing it, Metaphor.
You can just tell us
But
your overall thoughts.
my overall thought so far is that it's a really good RPG. It melds a lot of elements from what you typically would expect from a Persona-esque Atlas title, where you have a calendar system, really fun turn-based combat, and like a very like striking visual style, and like English voice acting that is always on point. The main thing that makes Metaphor so unique in comparison to the Personas franchise is a mixture of a couple of elements that really add like a level of depth and difficulty that you just don't typically see in the Persona-esque side of the Atlas RPG. So basically, you have, instead of just, oh, you can just block attacks and everything. No, what you can do is you have like the front position and the rear position. The front is like the front left side, the front line and the back line. The front line, your physical attacks do more damage, but your defense is lowered. You can go on the back line where your magic attacks are more stronger, but and your defense is higher, but your melee attack is weaker. And that's in one layer of strategy you can kind of incorporate into battles. The other thing is, unlike the Persona games where the main character can switch out their persona like that, like that, in Metaphor, you're locked to one archetype for each character. You can freely switch the archetypes outside of battle, but in battle you can't switch them. You can't switch archetypes. You're locked in with one archetype for each party member during a battle, and that can make or break an encounter. Like where I was at before I stopped playing was I was trying to do one of the optional side dungeons to kind of get some money and experience before going into the next major dungeon. But because I was either under leveled or like the archetypes I was using was pissing off the goblins that I was fighting, I was
Mm.
having such a hard time, and I ended up having to retreat and go back to the next day with all my HP and MP restored, and I have to figure out like a new strategy, because if I just go in with everyone being like a melee or like a knight, like a knight or brawler, yeah, I'll be able to get through it, but I'm not gonna have the magic attacks that are so critical in defeating all these dudes. So there's a layer of strategy and depth to this that don't typically kind of have to struggle with in the Persona games. So I think it's so this is interesting in a lot of ways. It takes like the challenge you would see in a traditional Shimigami Tensei game like SMT 4 or 5, and kind of makes it a more approachable for somebody who typically just plays the Persona games from Atlas. And
Oh.
that's everything on the gameplay front. On the story front, I'm very early in, but I really love where they're taking the narrative. You have like really intriguing characters, and the interesting thing is, unlike the Persona games, your main character is fully voiced and and even though you kind of select what he says, he has his own agency in the narrative. In terms of like he's actively talking with his party members. When you select a choice, he's speaking it. It's not just a blank block, like text block, and the character just automatically responds to it. So it's interesting how they're kind of slowly getting away from like your character being like, you make it how you want to make him or her. Like it's a more defined character, and that's pretty cool. Other characters are awesome too. Um, like you have again, it's been a few days since I played. You have Stroll, who's like the best friend character, but he has a big, huge sense of honor, and that kind of leads to him being taken more seriously than you would typically see in like the best friend character in the Persona game in a Persona game,
Mm.
for example. And the main villain so far is pretty interesting too, having very like Sephiroth-esque vibes to him.
That's good to hear. I'm sure you'll love this game.
Absolutely, I look forward to playing more of it throughout the month of November.
Oh, you got any other thoughts to share, or is that it?
That's kind of it right now on Metaphor on my end, unless you want to comment on anything.
I mean, I don't have much to say though. I thought Persona was alright, so I'm sure sure it's a good game.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's like giving this a ton of praise and like you saw the reviews. Everyone loves this.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Everybody loves that list. But yeah, so let's talk about Black Ops 6.
Yes. I can comment on multiplayer stuff, but you take the floor with the campaign.
Well, let's start with you.
Well, I played a couple of matches in the multiplayer, and I really like the Omni movement. Like I'm able to get I one of the matches I played today, I was really happy with how it turned out. Like I think it was like in like a
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the names of the maps. It's like you're in like a cave area. It kind of closed in, different routes, upper, lower. And I was just destroying everybody. I was actually doing a really good job getting like 10 kills in a row. I'm like, this is okay, let's go. And obviously I lost my streak and died, but hey, that was a lot of fun.
That's better here. How is your experience overall with multiplayer?
I only played like a couple of matches today, so I don't really
Ah,
think I have the best answer to that, but I think the I echo what I said about the multiplayer from the whatchamacallit, the beta.
Yeah.
It's fun. It basically is a very fast paced shooter, and they really nailed what they were trying to do on terms of movement. The Omni movement is a game changer because you have a lot more control of where you're moving and where you're aiming than you did in other Call of Duty games. At least from what my limited experience with the series.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I concur. I think Omni Movement is a big game changer for COD. In fact, with Omni Movement next year, they're going to bring back some of the jetpack elements.
ooh, that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's not gonna be exactly the same, but you're gonna have like a whole wall running,
Like Titanfall.
something like that. Yeah, but yeah, they're gonna do some interesting stuff with Omni Movement.
I'm glad they're gonna keep it around.
Oh yeah, it's gonna stay around for sure. Plus, they don't have. It's not really hard to implement since they all share the same engine now.
Yeah, exactly. Because now, like, they're able to get it working on all the older consoles too. So
Hmm.
I imagine it's gonna be really interesting to see how it, you know, how it. I'm really curious to see how this game runs on Switch 2 next year. Because you damn well know they're gonna port
If it
this.
can run on the PS4, it's fine.
Yeah,
Because these games are still cross-gen, so
yeah. That's why I think the laptop runs it pretty damn well. Because like the
I heard
lowest.
people say like the performance is worse than the beta.
I I can kind of get that because I was
Something
having
about the
like,
frame rate not being as strong.
yeah, that's kind of something I was trying to kind of figure out because on my
I'm
end when I
sure
was,
that'll be patched though.
yeah, again, I'm using the Xbox PC version of the game, so maybe that's why I'm having minor issues. But I got, that's what it is with PC gaming. You gotta, tinker around with things and see how that works out.
Yeah, I've played a bit of Black Ops 6 multiplayer, but I've been mostly campaign. But for my multiplayer, I was on for like a few hours. It was pretty fun. It's kind of funny how, because in the beta you had like all the like the OP guns and like the default classes, and then this time they like removed all the OP guns from the default classes. So like you gotta be in a different groove. But yeah, I'm getting through 'em, leveling them up. I plan to be pretty consistent with the multiplayer though.
It's gonna be something I casually play like as throughout the week. Um, So I just wanted to take a break from my classes anyway. So yeah, the multiplayer is gonna be something I try to stick with throughout the next week or so. But I definitely want to give that campaign a shot because everyone's saying it's really good.
Yeah, it is really good. It could be one of my favorite FPS campaigns, honestly.
Oh wow, and you played all the Call of Duties too.
Yeah, there's I don't a lot of them that are like whatever, but there's at least like 5, 7 that I really like. And
So
then
so you played most of the campaign, or you just started it?
I think I'm like the halfway point,
Nice.
or maybe more, because I never heard it's like 7 to 9 hours long.
17 hours?
7 to 9.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 17 for a moment.
No,
Like,
no,
what?
no. It's like 7 to 9 hours long.
Nice.
But it's a
Ages.
very different type of Call of Duty experience. Because usual Call of Duties is like military shooters, but this is like a espionage spy thriller.
I heard it's like a stealth level. I think.
There's a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
It's really
So
impressive.
who's developing you? So as someone who knows about like the development side of things, who developed the campaign?
Raven.
Okay, so this is a full sequel to the Cold War
Yeah, yeah.
game.
It's a continuation of the Cold War.
Okay.
It's also very related to Black Ops 2.
Hmm.
Because Cold War took place between Black Ops 1 and 2. This one takes post Black Ops 2.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because of the timeline.
How would you kind of rate the actual story so far? Someone who kind of knows most of the stuff
So
and
far, I gotta say the level design or the mission design, I guess you could say, is really impressive. you have like they're not really linear shooting galleries. You have some really open creative spaces here.
So you have kind of options of how you tackle objectives.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's like a area where like in like a desert area, you get like a car and you like choose because there's like a bunch of side objectives you can drive to, and you can like find audio diaries there.
Hmm.
It's like really cool.
So is it like a Warzone map in terms of size, or is it like
No, it's
small?
smaller.
Okay,
They're not doing the Warzone stuff this time.
okay, that's good because if you're gonna have
It's
like
just like
open,
a much more open level with areas you can explore.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then there's like another one that took place like in a city, like you given like trying to like kill targets.
I imagine it's like that's stealth focused too because you go guns
Yeah,
blazing, it's alerted, and you have to go through a really difficult fight.
yeah. They're still oriented, but you can still choose to go violence. And then I also played the mission, that they showed us with demo missions, the one in Washington D.C.
Hmm,
That
that's
one was
cool.
really fun. But yeah, and then the mission I'm currently on is like very creative. I want to spoil, but it does some really cool, unique things.
That's sick. Like Call of Duty is one of those franchises that's been going on for so long that to hear that they keep mixing up the multiplayer, not the multiplayer, to keep mixing up like the single player missions and having like new elements throughout the campaigns. That's really cool.
Yeah, they always done a good job with the campaigns.
Even like Modern Warfare 3. Not like the original one, the
Oh, I'm
remake.
not. The Modern Warfare 3 one, it's like a weird situation because that was right after, how everybody left Infinity War.
Yeah.
It's still a pretty decent campaign. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's still pretty solid.
I think I'm getting the Modern Warfare 3s mixed up. I'm thinking about like the recent one that came out, like the
I thought I talk about the OG one.
yeah, I think the remake. That's what it is. A
It's a
reimagine
reboot.
reboot. Okay, reboot Modern Warfare 3.
Oh yeah, yeah, that one. That's just an unfortunate situation
The
because
developers crunch on that.
because the original plan was to make it like a spin-off. It was gonna be like a smaller spin-off story, and then somewhere in development they told him no, you're gonna make the actual third game sequel.
Great idea.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm really loving the campaign. They've they've really done some cool mechanics. Have you played Cold War?
No,
Okay. Well, basically, you get like a hub save house. And there's like some puzzles you can find in there, characters you can interact, stuff you can like collect money through missions and stuff you can buy for your save house. There's like a lot of cool mystery and stuff to explore there as well.
but this okay. Sounds like there's a lot of depth to this.
Yeah, they clearly you can really tell that they really took their 4 years.
That's awesome.
Raven is also they make the campaigns and they're the Warzone support team.
Yeah, I think they're the main Warzone developers now.
They've always kind of been. I kind of like they always like assist. Like for example, with the original Warzone, they when Infinity War was making Warzone from Modern Warfare, like they helped develop the map with them. So they kind
Okay.
of always been the Warzone team. They've been like they've been like a second partner basically to all of the studios. And then when it transitions to a different studio, they've always been there to like to help with it, manage it, support it.
So they're a critical piece of the COD machine.
Yeah, they've really grown because like I don't know, the first game I remember then was the Modern Warfare. I mean, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remaster. Everybody was impressed. And then they also did the Modern Warfare 2 Remaster, but clearly the multiplayer didn't get released, so they only released the campaign, which was really good. And since then, they were supposed to make a Call of Duty with Sledgehammer, but things didn't work out, so it had to be turned into the Black Ops Cold War. But
That
yeah,
turned out
they're
sounds
really
good.
impressive. Because Cold War was originally going to be like a new IP for Call of
Wow.
Duty. But things weren't working out, so they had to partner with Treyarch to save it and make it a Black Ops game.
Oh, I mean, it probably worked out better in the end because the
Oh
Call of
yeah,
Duty.
the story is really enhanced by the Black Ops ties.
Well, not only just that, like if you're making a new IP and you kind of rebranding it into Call of Duty, like that means having the Call of Duty name is going to do a lot to kind of help push your game.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy with the campaign. I think this will probably end up in my goatee of the year if Indiana Jones does not surpass.
I think it will impress. It looks pretty solid
I'm
from
sure I'll be impressed, but I'll see how I feel about the gameplay
yeah.
because I'm still not sure about the melee combat.
I think it's going to be solid, but I'm hoping for the best
I
too.
don't know. I haven't been impressed by what I've seen, but I do hope it's good. But yeah, you got any other things you want to say?
I can't really say much about Call of Duty since I just dabbled with the multiplayer.
Yeah. But yeah, we've I really enjoyed what I've been playing these last few weeks.
Same.
I've really been like keep Call of Duty. I just keep on going back to it.
It's just nice that there's a lot of great games for everybody to play right now.
Oh
If
yeah,
you like platformers, shooters, adventure
mature
games,
games.
hmm everyone has something.
Yep. So what's next for you over the coming weeks?
Well, I just beat Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm not gonna just go into detail about the game because you're gonna probably be like, I don't want to stand this.
We can talk about it.
All right. Well, that's the big that's the latest that's the big game I beat. Both the Sonic campaign and the Shadow campaign. And like I mentioned, I wrote a pretty massive review on it. But the long and short of it is the version of Sonic Generations that's included in this collection is a really solid port that kind of just on PC at the very least, you have all the graphics options in the menu versus like a separate launcher you have to kind of figure tinker around with before you boot the game up proper. And it's basically Sonic Generations, and that game is objectively one of the better 3D Sonic games. So that being maintained is really nice. Then you have Shadow Generations, which basically takes what Sonic Frontiers does, and it just focuses. So instead of like multiple open zones, you get one. Instead of like 30 like cyberspace levels, you get 12 really well designed levels based off of I, iconic and recent stages from the series. And story is genuinely really good as somebody who really loves to really cares about these characters. Like what they do with Shadow as a character and just his overall character arc is really well done. Like the animation throughout the entire experience is really damn good. And the level choices and the level design for said levels themselves is really, really cool. Like the main gimmick of Shadow Generations is Shadow gets these abilities called Doom powers, and they range from him being able to use his Chaos Spear to hit multiple enemies at once, to growing a pair of wings and just being able to glide using like your boost meter. And some of these abilities are really cool. Like, for example, one of them is Doom Blast, which is like you for like the aliens you're fighting in the game, you have the normal robots, but when you're fighting the Black Doom specific Black Doom creatures, you can launch them in the air, and where you send them is where you land. So you can kind of go from where you can just really get some really sick shortcuts and alternate routes in a level using that ability. You also have Doom Morph, which Shadow turns into like this like squid-like creature, and you can use that to kind of swing around the environment Spider-Man style, or like be able to go on walls and underneath objects.
Oh.
Like it's really what the level design is genuinely really cool. And something I really appreciate is that they took a level from Sonic Forces and a level from Sonic Frontiers, and the former is one of the more lackluster Sonic games, and Frontiers, they literally took an island from that game and made it a more linear level. Whereas in Sonic Frontiers, Chaos Island is a pretty massive open zone. So condensing that to 2 levels is really interesting, and how they do that impressed me. So I mean, I wrote my review off of lordsofgaming.net. You could look it up, and you probably won't agree with the score, but I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I loved it. They took a great Sonic game and paired it with an even better Sonic game. So cannot recommend it enough.
Happy you're liking it. So is it what's like the movie tie-in thing or
The movie tie-in thing is a DLC level that's going to be releasing at the
uh
sometime early December, where like you play as like Shadow takes on the appearance of Keanu Reeves Shadow, voice and all, and you go through like, I don't know the context of it, but I think it's like a like 1 to 2 levels, kind of like how like the normal zones work in like the main game, and it's based off of the Tokyo, one of the locations in Sonic 3. So it's basically going to probably be like a highlight reel of like moments from that area in the film. But I don't really know the full details on that. I guess we will all see when that releases closer to the film.
sounds good. I'm happy you're enjoying it.
Thanks, man.
So I guess we'll just end in with our write-in.
Mm-hmm.
This write-in is from our friend of the show, Addie. Okay, here it is. So, thoughts on John Garvin throwing a fit
Yes.
relating to Astro?
Yeah. I'll explain the context for this one. So the Days Gone director, right, or producer,
Director. And he was a
basically,
studio head, I believe.
former studio head and director of Days Gone. He had a very public like disapproval of Duncan or Deacon. I think it's Deacon.
Deacon being
Yeah. Deacon being one of the many VIP bots you can find across Astro Bot. And he was like, that's great. You're just like doing something with my franchise. And in a lot of ways, he's just kind of voicing his disapproval of PlayStation's treatment of the IP. But and when you look at it on in a objective sense, Days Gone got a PlayStation 5 upgrade that makes it really more playable than it was on PS4. Deacon is a character that PlayStation clearly wants to do something with, because I think they're making a movie or TV show based on Days Gone, or that's in the production in some capacity. Um, and then you have obviously the VIP bot and Astrobot, and rumors of another useless remaster of with Days Gone getting a native PS5 game. And it's like, that is really, so PlayStation clearly sees
that
value.
won't might not be true though.
It's probably not true, but regardless, PlayStation sees value in Days Gone as a franchise, and it makes me really wonder what the situation was like with
I've heard that the studio or like people within the studio didn't want to make a sequel.
that has to be the case, because if they didn't, because it's,
Because we do know there was a civil war, so I wouldn't doubt it. That's what kind of happened.
what probably happened was you had a faction of Ben that wanted to make a new IP, and a faction of Ben that wanted to make a Days Gone sequel, and between like the critical success not being as high as other PlayStation Studios games and issues at
Plus
launch,
Sony pressure.
and Sony pressure, they just probably went ahead with the new IP.
I mean,
And yeah,
well, they firstly went ahead with making an Uncharted prequel spin-off.
I thought that was something that PlayStation was really pushing on them rather
Yeah,
than them.
that really pushed on them, and like able to like convince PlayStation to give them another chance.
Hmm.
So yeah, seems like very, let's say, emotional situation from Mr. Garvin.
I just think you could. There's more professional ways to go about doing stuff like
I
that.
don't know. He was I believe he was like insulting fans.
He was insulting fans, and like,
Like, what have you created? It was like one of his tweets.
wow.
Like,
And I
yeah,
think Team Asobi and PlayStation did come out and commented on that too, if I understand correctly. Not no. Studio Sony Bend came out
Social
and
media manager, community
they
manager.
came out and they made a comment about that.
Yeah, he's like stream people alone or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. My perspective is, look, I don't like Days Gone. I'm not gonna insult someone who's been in the industry for so long, but like, it's really petty. This is the word I use. Petty and kind of childish. The way he acts. Like, he moved on to a new project. Let it go.
Yeah. I mean, I can be empathetic to a point, but
I'm
at like,
empathetic for creative, because I can imagine if you make a game, you like really passionate about it, you want to make another one, it just doesn't work out. That can be disheartening, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna move on.
and I can imagine like he can just take his original ideas for Days Gone 2 and just put that toward a new franchise that he could fully own without any like publisher involvement. So that's another positive thing that you could look into at some point, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, that's our episode for today.
It
Got
was a lot of
any?
fun doing this.
It was fun. Got any final words for the audience?
Um, Not much outside of thank you for listening to us ramble about video games, and we will be back soon with episode 4, and we will discuss other happenings in the industry,
A
and
lot of big stories to talk.
yeah, a lot, quite a bit. It's always something going on.
There's some things I'm really passionate about, so I'm looking forward to this episode. But this was just a nice buffer episode while we get ready for a big one.
Yep.
So, thanks everybody, and have a good one.
Peace out, everybody.